Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to or watching the replay of Tales of Eldura. So, Jonathan and I are doing a duet remix of Descent into Avernus. And so, if you're not familiar with who we are both the writers behind D&D Duet. You can check out our work at dndduet.com. If you are following along in the Avernus text, we are about to enter our last session in the Dungeon of the Dead 3, which is still part of Chapter 1. So thank you guys so much for tuning in.
Our amazing live stream of one-on-one D&D today is brought to you by Buried Heroes. Buried Heroes tells the story of a world of high fantasy magic and nature that teeters on the brink between light and darkness. Ancient forces awaken and new heroes rise to the occasion, but this time, can they prevail? Find out in this exciting first-in-series novel packed with druids, pirates, werewolves, and more. And that's it.
Buried Heroes was written by your DM, and you can find it on anywhere that books are sold, or you can check out my website, bethballbooks.com. We also wanted to extend a special thank you to all of our amazing patrons. You guys enable what we do. We're so thankful for your support and enthusiasm. You talked about how you wanted us to do some more video content and especially live play. And we hear so much about what you guys think and what you want. So here we are. We hope that you're enjoying the Tales of Eldura live stream.
Ready?
Garreth,
Oh my.
Are you ready?
Here we go.
Okay. So Garreth is going to bring us in with a brief recap of last session, and then I'll take us into the dungeon.
I'm Garreth Stosdak, a simple man. Been plying my trade in respite for many years now, but that was all upended only a few days ago. Through a unforeseen series of events, I have found myself in the company of a witch from the Witchwood?
The Witchwood, yeah.
A witch from the Witchwood named Tessina, and an individual named Evelyn Ryder, who I had been sent to go find and am charged to return with. She had been held in a dungeon populated by murder cultists. We got her out of the dungeon relatively straightforwardly by talking to an imp, but she had unfinished business down there and told me that she would go meet Millicent Legree, the person I was supposed to bring her to, if I helped her. Crawling through the dungeon, facing many terrors, including strange people with a strange affinity for this odd black stone that renders Evelyn powerless. It seems to be particularly anti-nature-based caster nastiness. We devised a plan to bring down the dungeon, and we're in the midst of enacting that plan when we stumbled upon something quite unusual, a pair of individuals seemingly in a duel, surrounded by dead cultists. I think that's where we left off.
Yes. Let me get you to the dungeon. Let's set the scene for us. Okay. And just briefly, because he just started fussing beside me, our dogs are very happily joining us for the stream today. They've been rather distressed by the fireworks that have been occurring recently near where we live. So we're hoping that that won't happen tonight. But if we have a series of fireworks, we'll just adapt from there. But that way we're all kind of on the same page. Okay, so Garreth, I'm going to set the scene for where we are in the dungeon, just so you and our viewers are all on the same page, okay?
Perfect.
So you and Evelyn and Tessina found a Nagata woman named Vendetta and actually managed to rescue her. The other prisoner that she'd been held captive with had died. And so you and Evelyn found a door after you captured and chained to the wall one of Vendetta's torturers. So before he was able to awaken anyone else to kind of come to your aid. So you and Evelyn went out ahead. Tessina's been helping Vendetta because she is injured. You went out ahead into a flooded chamber, which opens with rough-hewn steps climbing to the south, north, and northeast. So this is the room that you're kind of looking into, okay? The floor buckles up above the waterline in the middle of the room, forming a small island. Corpses and doused torches float in the water around the island, atop which two men circle each other with weapons bared. So, Garreth, go ahead and roll a perception check for me to see how well you can see the people who are floating in the water.
16.
Awesome. So, Garreth, while at first you thought that the people floating in the water might be cultists, you actually recognize the kind of light catches on one of the brooches on their cloaks, and you recognize the emblem of the Nightwatch. Okay. You see two people circling each other, two men circling one another with drawn, bloodied blades. One bears a long scar across his face and wears a ring with an upside-down tiered pyramid. I don't know that Garreth can see that right this second, but I'm telling you now so that we can focus when we get that far. So that's this man here, and his figure looks really scary. I don't think that the man actually looks quite so scary. He does have a hood, but it's pulled mostly back, and that's so you can see the scar across his face.
That's a really scary token.
Yes. Sorry about that. The other has blood stains on his finely crafted jacket, and he is a tall, relatively thin man with thick black hair and a mustache. So I'm not trying to say that the person in the cloak does not look scary. He just doesn't look like one of the, I don't know. He doesn't look quite as scary as this token.
Because we fought people upstairs that were like cloaked and sworded and stuff, but like Garreth recognizes that this guy is not one of those guys. Right.
And you can recognize that in part because you see a face beneath his cowl. Once you get closer, we'll see about kind of recalling more of the things about him. But that way we have the scene set. So you see these two men circling each other on this sort of raised area. Are you able to see this part of the map okay? I know there's this weird blue sphere or circle.
Yeah, I don't see a circle.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
I do. I don't know. Anyway, blue circle. So, okay. So they're circling one another, and you are remaining stealthy, right?
I think that Evelyn, when we left off last time, Evelyn and I had a quick conversation, right, about who we saw. And I think that Garreth was going to go forward and, like, still remaining stealthy. Can he hear them conversing?
Roll a stealth check and then a perception check for me.
I'm terrible at stealth. 2.
Okay.
I can't hear anything over my... 18 for perception, but
Perfect.
Pretty noisy.
You're pretty clunky. Okay. So I think that they do pause in their circling of one another, but you rolled a really high perception check. And so you overhear the man in the cloak kind of growling at the finely dressed one. That wasn't part of the deal. Something along those lines. So they seem to have some sort of disagreement.
And I think that
he kind of stabs at the guy and he jumps back. So they seem to be relatively well matched.
And I think when we left off, Garreth was like going forward and planting his shield and pulling out his crossbow, right?
Yeah. Do you want to start there?
Yeah. So I think that Garreth would do that, drop to one knee, right before right before anything happens, I think he'd say, "By the flame in the forge," and drop to one knee and shoot a crossbow bolt over his shield, close to which one of the two looks the most scary.
What are you looking for? Who looks the hardiest?
Well, okay, so I recognized Mortlock, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Or you know that Evelyn recognized him. You know who that is. You know that Mortlock is one of the head advisors to Eliza, the representative on the Council of Four for the Consulate of Nobles. So he's a relatively important politician.
Right. So not him. That's this person.
Okay, you want to shoot the other person.
I want to shoot close to them, and I want to say, what's going on here?
Okay. Roll an attack.
I just need to not... no critical fails would be good on this. You accidentally assassinated the... Wow. Perfect. 20.
Nice. Okay. And so do you want to hit him?
No, I think... can I hit him... maybe I can hit him, but in a way that I know that it's not going to hurt it. Like if he has a thick... If he has a thick cloak or something, right? Like maybe I can put an arrow like into the bunches of that cloak, or like if he's got a hood or something. Like he's got a hood, right? So maybe
and his hood's falling back. So you want to like shoot across the hood?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Slice the hood in half with a dramatic ripping of fabric, and the arrow, ping, hits the wall on the other side. Do you say anything?
Oh yeah, I said, halt! What's going on here?
Nice. Okay, so as you say that, make sure I don't mess this up. As you say that, Mortlock takes the opportunity while this person's name is Vaz, is distracted to disengage and run away.
Mortlock is running. Wait, okay. Would I have any chance to do anything? Because I told him to halt, and he's booking it, and that's not what I said.
You want to shoot him in the back?
I don't want to shoot him in the back. I wanted to see if I had any spells left. Because I feel
Do you have any spells left?
I feel like this is an opportunity for like command. Didn't I use all my spells? Does a filled in
I think you used all your spells.
Oh, I used all my spells. So instead, I will approach this unknown to me individual, and I think I'll beller for Mortlock to stop, but I'll approach this person in such a way that makes it clear that I would rather talk than fight.
Okay, so you approach with kind of hands up.
Yeah.
And Evelyn is going to be coming up behind you, as well as Tessina. Music really fast. Oh, it's fine. Okay, Evelyn is approaching kind of beside you, twirling her. Because she got her stuff back. She's twirling her hand axe kind of through her fingers, and you see Tessina readying something just in case.
Okay, and what does the figure do?
Turn to you, say, "Who are you?"
I could ask you the same thing, villain.
Why do you call me a villain? These? He gestures to the bodies around him.
And Garreth...
The 4 floating corpses in the water.
Garreth recognizes these 4 floating corpses as Nightwatch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Garreth is going to point his mace at this person and say, You're assaulting a noble of the city in the middle of a murder dungeon? That's why I name you villain.
So you're on his side.
I'm anti-murder cultists, and whoever did these terrible things to these refugees and beacon folk. What's your stance on murder cultists? I advance, threateningly.
Okay, how close do you get?
I mean, what does he do as I advance?
He is just kind of waiting for you to get closer.
I would stop just out of melee.
Okay, I think that's a good call. So you're still in the water. He's out of the water. Evelyn and Tessina are going to approach as well.
I asked a really clear question.
I'm sorry, I was having trouble with the token. Okay. My stance is to protect myself and mine first. And I don't like being double-crossed. Point 2. This are regrettable, to be sure, but Eliza's doing what she's doing. It's not my fault. You gonna attack me or not? He points a bloody dagger at you.
Does he look hardy?
Looks pretty strong.
Yeah. I'm going to gesture to the floating Nightwatch bodies. I feel a little conflicted about the floating Nightwatch bodies because they murdered a bunch of brigade folk, and the Nightwatch were the last people that saw Maverick alive, and now Maverick is dead in this dungeon.
You think that they murdered a bunch of brigade folk, but one of those people was supposed to be Maverick.
Right, but the Nightwatch were the last people that I saw Maverick with. So I'm going to say, what happened to them?
He gestures his head towards where you saw Mortlock run away. Mortlock murdered them. They're my people.
They say that the Nightwatch is their people?
Mm-hmm. Your perception check was high enough earlier. You see where his hand is curled around the dagger, an upside down pyramid that's tiered. It's a sign of the Thieves Guild. I drew it here somewhere so you could see. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Upside down is really far away from where I want to show you. You see that kind of on his ring that's gripped around the dagger. So you know that only the kind of higher tier people in the city's Thieves Guild wear those bands. For him to wear it openly, you would assume that he's relatively high ranking, because everyone else would be much more subtle about it. And sorry, while we're here and while you're kind of deciding what to do, I'm sorry this is a little bit of a slower start. I hope it's okay. To your left, Garreth, is a set of stairs that you see opens onto a chamber, and you would be able to also see into this room that Mortlock ran into, a set of stairs up ahead of you to the right. So this man is standing on a kind of a patch of ground that rises up out of the water. To your left, a set of stairs, and to your right, another set of stairs that opens onto a similar stone chamber.
Okay. And do I see what's up here?
You see a chest, or a stack of chests. That.
And one last question for Garreth. Is he aware of or surprised by any association between the Nightwatch and the Thieves Guild?
Yes.
Garreth is going to say, so the guild has Nightwatch soldiers doing their bidding?
We have people all over the city. Of course, we've infiltrated the Nightwatch. I have to go after Morlock or he's going to escape.
Real quick, what is Evelyn up to? Is she associated with all this?
Eliza?
Sorry. Evelyn's my friend. Eliza Seymour. Is Seymour associated with all this?
Yes.
I think Garreth would curse in Respitish, and he would... Wait, ooh. Do I believe him?
Roll an insight check.
I would love to. Whew. This is one of those things that it's nice to remember from time to time. 19. NPCs can lie to you.
Nice. You can. This one is not lying, so you believe him. He's not very chatty. You would be fine in assuming that he's leaving stuff out.
Okay.
So Evelyn has floated the body that was right next to you away and come to stand beside you.
Okay, that's nice. Does she have anything
Garrett,
for him?
what do you want to do?
Oh, I'm gonna say, I'm Stozdak. Get him. I'm gonna let Taz go after. I'm hoping Taz. I'm hoping that Taz will tell me who he is, and I'm gonna indicate that he should get after Mortlock, and we'll deal with the aftermath of that after we're not surrounded by murder, death.
Okay. Boz. And it bows its head to you, and then splish, splash, splish through the water. Where would you like to go?
Okay. So, I would like to talk to Evelyn.
Okay.
Evelyn,
You
what do you...
believe him?
Oh, sorry?
You believe him?
I do, to a point. What do you know about Eliza Seymour, Mortlock, the Thieves Guild? Do you know anything about all of this? And I just gesture like, what the hell?
Poor Garrett. His little world.
Yeah. Ooh, also, as I'm talking to her, I'm going to be dragging one of these bodies kind of up here to the land a little bit.
So one of these bodies?
Yeah. Ooh, maybe I'll go over there. Because I'm not above... Like, as a D&D player, I will strip a body with a uniform. I've played enough, like, Hitman to know that a Nightwatch ensemble could come in handy at some point.
Great. You want to take his clothes?
Yeah, I think we'll search the bodies, and I'll take at least one set of clothes.
Okay. You hear the sounds of combat starting again.
Ooh.
From up where you guys were. Sorry, from up where you sent Voz.
Okay. Did Evelyn say anything? I guess I thought that we were out of, like, immediate craziness.
I'm just telling you what's happening while you guys are talking.
Okay, that would probably change. Depending on what she says, I may or may not go help Taz.
Voz.
Okay. Vaaz.
Voz.
It's on both ends
It's not
of
a
the
cool
alphabet.
name.
It is a cool name.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Evelyn. As we had some idea, but no proof, nothing positive. that it went all the way up to Eliza, but I don't trust them. Do you?
Which them is she referring to? Would it be clear to Garreth?
Nobles. As you would know that she's talking about the nobles. Evelyn is part of a rebellious organization that asked you to join them to stand up against the structures of power from within the city, specifically the knights who work for the city or the city guard and the nobility.
I think that if they heard combat happening to the north, then I think that Garreth would drop the body and pursue to see if he could, if Vaz caught up to Mortlock and we could beat some information out of Mortlock, then I feel like he would feel like that was pretty worthwhile.
Okay, sure. So do you want to run up there?
Yeah.
Okay, let me get that revealed while you are on up. And Evelyn and Tessina are going to be behind you.
Okay.
So you want, let's see, roll a d20 for me.
$13.
Okay, roll it 2 more times.
11 and 4.
Nice. Okay. So, just kind of running in here. You see, Vaz looked like he was doing pretty well before. He does have Mortlock. If you want to keep going into the room just a little bit, you'll be able to see. I'll stick him over here. He does have Mortlock in a corner, but kind of between a statue. There's a statue right here. So Mortlock is in a corner beside a statue, but Vaz looks like he's bleeding pretty profusely from the gut area.
Oh no. Okay. So yeah, can we do stuff? Are we in initiative? What's going on?
If you're ready, you can do, what do you want to do?
As I run in, if I see Vaz hurting and Mortlock, is he like grinning evilly with Vaz blood on his sword?
Definitely has Vaz's blood on his sword. I don't know that he's such a powerful combatant to be able to grin and have Vaz's blood on his sword, but...
Fair enough.
Yeah.
What are the statues?
The statues are of the sketchy deities.
I had a sneaking suspicion.
So there is I think I'm getting them in order, a Rekka statue, a Braymorn statue, and a Zarmev statue.
Okay, so I would... Let's see, Mortlock probably has pretty good cover right now, but I think I'd run in, and
Okay.
if I can get... I don't know, how much movement do I have? You
can start on this initiative, so do you want to... You can go... I'll give you guys the surprise round. They're really wrapped up in fighting with each other.
Okay. I think I'd run over... Yeah, I think I'd get in his face. And I think that I would smack him with a mace as I called out, "You have much to answer for, villain!"
You want to attack him?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and roll to hit.
15 to hit with 9 points of bludgeoning damage.
Nice. Okay, that definitely hits. You kind of, you see him spit blood. Yes. As he kind of backs away from you.
As I'm closer to him, do I see any, like, Braymorn rings like the other guys had? Or do I see any, like, I don't know.
Roll a perception check.
Iconography, because a bunch of the people that we've been fighting have been sporting these sweet, sweet Braemorn rings. A whopping 12.
Okay. You're right up in his face. You actually notice a strange black, I guess, what are they called? Like a clasp at his neck, like on his jacket. Which roll a religion check.
I love rolling religion checks. Because I'm so good at them. 5.
Okay. It looks scary.
It's black and what?
It's an eye.
Oh, okay. And I think that...
Eerily unfamiliar.
Perfect. I think that if I had, like, you have things to answer for, villain, we've got you surrounded, like, as my friends run in.
Okay, so yeah, I think he's gonna back up against the wall. He's not like totally surrendered. He still has his weapons kind of ready to go. He's got like a rapier in one hand and a dagger in the other. Then he kind of turns to you and is looking really closely between you and Vaz. What is it that you want?
Oh, Garreth would say, drop your weapons and answer my questions.
Make him take a step back. Evelyn steps forward and kind of puts a hand on Vaz's shoulder and pulls him back.
Okay.
He lowers the rapier to the ground. And he lowers the dagger in his hand, but keeps it in his hand.
Can I brandish my mace in like a threatening way?
Would you like to roll an intimidation check?
I would like to roll an intimidation check. How did you know? A whopping 12.
You brandish your mace. It looks really scary and cool. Add in a twirl.
And I think I'll growl out, what is your stance on murder cultists?
Kind of frowns at you. It's my stance.
What are you doing here?
Necessary evil.
Then you'll understand this. And I move to disarm his dagger the rest of the way, and I want to, like, grapple him.
Okay. Roll a strength or athletics check.
I'm good at those. 24. Beat that, Mortlock.
So he rolled a 23. So you do beat that. Nice. Oh, gosh, he scared me. Sorry.
We are in a murder dungeon.
Yeah, I just wasn't prepared to get sneak attacked by my puppy. Okay, so yes, you knock his dagger out of his hand. Do you want to like pin him up against the wall?
Yeah. And
Okay. Cena's gonna run over, grab the dagger, disappears.
nice. And I'm gonna get dang, I used up all my manacles already. I'm gonna get
I got something. Evelyn comes forward with rope. She'll help you.
perfect. So we're gonna subdue this guy. Is he struggling, or like is he continuing to struggle, or like is he saying anything?
There are four of you. There are four of you and one of him. He isn't saying anything at the moment.
Okay. So we're going to get him situated, probably partially tied to one of these statues or something.
Okay.
Now, real quick, what's happening over here? Is this like a screen or is this a waterfall?
So there's in this chamber, sorry, there's just nothing really exciting over here. You see some other chests and some rats.
There's a lot of rats.
Lots of rats. You see some kind of moldy looking chests.
Perfect. Okay.
It's not the most exciting thing you've ever seen.
Yeah, so I think that we would kind of get him situated and surrounded. And I'm also conscious of how we left our... Like, we left Vendetta all the way back here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And our skeleton friends are like guarding some doors. Would probably have cultists behind them.
No, the skeleton. Oh yeah, that is happening. And Vendetta is Vendetta Tessina took care of. So she's kind of waiting in the doorway into the watery room. So if she has to go into the watery room, she will. If the skeletons get like beaten back by cultists, then she'll follow that way. Otherwise, she's just going to kind of wait for you guys at this entryway.
Okay, cool. So
she needs to go hide behind the door. She will.
Okay.
She's okay.
So interrogation time. Let's get some answers from Mortlock.
Okay. Roll another intimidation check for me just to see kind of how well it goes.
Is this an intimidation check that I might be able to roll with advantage because of
you have help?
I'll beat his head in? An 18 and then a 20. That feels pretty
nice. Good. He looks pretty terrified as you kind of clap your mace in your hand.
My mace does
Evelyn
have
crosses her hands.
Some like cultist gray matter on it still. So
makes sense.
Tessina's
mumbling harmless curses under her breath just in case.
I think I'd use my gray matter splattered mace to kind of like lift his chin a little bit and make eye contact with him, and I'm gonna say, Mortlock, you're far away from the council chambers.
Eliza knows where I am.
And why would she send you here in the midst of these Braymorn, Rekka, and Zarmev cultists murdering innocent people?
Why do you think? Why do you think?
I'm the one asking questions. You're the one answering them.
I'm asking you to put two and two together, big guy.
I think I cuff him for his insolence.
Nice. Okay. Roll an unarmed strike with advantage.
It'd be my pleasure. I'm actually pretty good at those. $14.
Nice. And how much damage?
4 points of bludgeoning damage.
Nice. Okay. Kind of snarls back up at you. You don't even want me. This is just operation. I didn't organize it. You need to talk to Amric at Cleona's Bounty.
Amric?
Mm-hmm. Amric.
And Cleona's Bounty is definitely a name I've heard.
Yes, that is actually the name that you found on the piece of paper kind of hidden on one of Maverick's rings.
Cool. So I think I'm going to say, Why is the Council of Nobles involved with abducting and torturing innocent people?
Everything we've done has been for the city of Respite. Eliza's... She's seen things. She knows what's coming. She knew what was going to happen in Beacon before. We did what was necessary to make sure that Respite survives. The other parts of our government don't have the stomach for it. His people, he kind of glares at Vaz and nods his head, turn their backs on us after we made a deal with them and everything. Despicable.
How does Vaz react?
He glares really intensely. Seems like you guys have the situation under control. He knows what's going on, so he doesn't have more questions. He just wants to kill Mortlock.
Okay. I'm going to say, tell me this, fool, and I won't kill you. What did Eliza see? What is she trying to stop from happening?
Stop the destruction of Respite. She knows what Alessandra's planning.
I think Garreth would kind of nod and loop his mace and then nod at Vaz to kill Mortlock if he wants to.
Ooh. Are you going to stay and watch?
Nope. I'm going to walk away. It's as good as killing Mortlock, and definitely kind of a mark of black on Gareth's soul a little bit, but we're not, we're washing our hands of this.
Okay. Where would you like to go now? You hear some chuckling behind you.
Some chuckling?
Light chuckling. It's like kind of contented laughter.
From Vaz? I think I'm going to say, as I pass Vaz, I'm going to say, you owe me answers later. And I'm going to walk out and, I got to loot the room.
Mm-hmm. Where do you want to loot?
I'm going to poke my head in here. Does anything seem good, or is it just going to be like I'm going to have to shoo away a bunch of rats?
So you shoo away the rats.
Yes.
I actually have this ready for you. So there's not a ton in this room. You are able to find. I'm going to put it in the chat for you. So
perfect. Ooh.
So in this room, there are 9 wooden crates scattered around the room with rats kind of scurrying across them. 6 of the crates are empty except for packing straw. The other 3 contain stolen goods that the cultists have not yet disturbed, including 10 days worth of rations, a bag of 20 caltrops, 3 flasks of alchemist fire, which Tessina squeals when she sees. She's really excited. 6 sets of manacles, 4 tinder boxes, 9 daggers, and 4 potions of healing in glass vials.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. So that room opens if you want to kind of keep going down here where you haven't been yet.
Yeah.
In that room, you find a crate with 5 torches if you want those.
So many torches.
Okay. And then do you want to go back through the watery room where the bodies are?
Yes, and I want to see if the Nightwatch have anything good on them.
Okay. They do have weapons and they have robes. If you want to loot their bodies, you do know, and this is not to say that you can't, but just Evelyn kind of stops you as you're like taking their stuff.
It's kind of icky.
A day with Vaz.
Yeah.
Let's leave them. Tessina. So she and Tessina are going to just help the bodies congregate on the island area. If you want to take their stuff, you can.
No, I'm good.
You want to go to this room with
we
the
gotta see what
crate?
this crate room is.
Okay.
What a crate room.
So silly. A short flight of stairs climbs to a circular chamber with 4 padlocked wooden chests piled in the middle of it. The chests are locked. If only you had a set of keys.
Oh, I do have a set of keys.
You found an amazing batch of treasure.
I love treasure.
So, the first chest that you open contains 4,500 copper pieces, 2 red crystal vials with gold stoppers worth 25 gold each, and each contains a potion of fire breath. Do we just tell you what's in the 4 chests? What's in chest number 2?
Perfect.
Chest number 2 contains 10 eye agates worth 10 gold each, sitting amid 1,250 silver pieces.
Okay.
Chest 3 is a little sketchier, with a porcelain skull mask worth 25 gold that's resting on 2,400 copper pieces and 500 silver pieces.
I'm really happy that we're using D&D Beyond for our sheet management.
Oh, good. Is it working really well?
Oh, it's so much easier to like add, these like weird, because you always get like weird bunches of money and like different varieties and stuff like that. And D&D Beyond has this thing at the top that's like, how much gold do you have? But it like takes everything and just adds it.
Yeah. If you want to organize that more later, we can. I have the list for you. I'll make sure that you get it. But yeah, I'm glad it's easy to organize.
I got everything.
Tessina says,
"Oh, I got everything already. That's not the art."
You got
pieces.
It all? I don't think there are any art. There's the skull masks.
The skull mask and the diamonds and stuff like that.
Got you. Tessina says, Garreth, we have so much money. Can I wear this? She puts the bronze crown on. How does it look? It's a little too much. No, it looks good.
No, I think it suits you. What do you think? And I put the stone mask on.
Roll a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, this.
I'm just kidding. But I think you should, you're in a murder dungeon. You put on a skull mask. Yeah, roll it.
15.
Okay. Flashes of death kind of pop before your eyes. Namely, you see your wife on her deathbed in a rather horrifying moment. You re-see Maverick's death, but then you recover. Don't suffer any psychic damage.
I'm going.
Evelyn grabs your arm. What are you doing? Where do you think we are?
I look abashed and I toss the mask into the corner of the room. And I'm gonna say, let's make sure Taz gets out, and we still need to bring this place down.
Do you think we should send somebody to search it?
No, you're right. We should... I want to make sure that the remaining cultists don't get away.
Vaz kind of walks away. You see him appear at the entryway, brushing his hands off, and he kind of rinses his blade in the water.
Cool. Can I talk to Vaz? Vaz, okay.
He kind of sits on the top step, drapes his arms over his knees.
Vaz, please illuminate us. What is going on? Why does Eliza think that respite is going to fall? What does she want to do? What do you all not have the stomach for? How do we stop her? I've got lots of questions.
That was a lot of questions. I forgot his voice. Anyway. I made a deal with Eliza, with her people, that would leave me and mine alone. In peace, I've got casters, I've got refugees in my ranks. We're a thieves guild, for God's sakes. So we take whoever is capable. She promised to leave ours alone. We promised to help her with this weird culty murder dungeon. Here we are. People too.
I'm so sorry. I don't think that your mic triggered.
Is my mic not working?
No, it worked.
What did you hear?
Didn't hear the last part.
Oh. He said until he, gesturing to Mortlock's body, until he started killing mine. So until Mortlock turned on him and started murdering members of the Thieves Guild who fit the profile of the people they've been taking.
So Garreth doesn't like hearing that. But he's going to say, Vaz, that doesn't answer why they're killing these refugees. Why are they killing these casters?
It's not good for business, but all I know is she's trying to protect the city's resources, and a bunch of refugees doesn't help her do that. So she's getting rid of them. You know how Alessandra feels about the Army of Light. You know how she feels about Beacon.
And Eliza is just following Alessandra?
Trying to get ahead of her? I don't know. I have a responsibility to the people that I take care of. A responsibility to this city, in a way.
Do you know about Cleona's bounty?
A little.
I'm sorry?
It's where the money's going for this place. Evelyn steps up beside you and says, "Yeah, Garreth, we had looked into Cleona's bounty. It's what I think, what Maverick was working on was, who was functionally trafficking and paying for the trafficking of the refugees, selling fake passes into the city, or fake writs of residence, who was doing research on them, Emmerich is... Oh, Garreth, that Emmerich, now that you were kind of hearing that name, has a similar role to Mortlock.
Okay.
So he's one of Eliza's financial advisors. So he oversees vast amounts of money in the city.
Eliza's a bad news bear.
Dun, dun.
I'm gonna look at Vaz and say, and the city's just fine with this, just the powers that be are just allowing this to happen?
Eliza's fine with it.
I didn't hear that.
Not mine. Do I need to do something different?
I don't know. It's been triggering most of the time, but then their last thing I didn't hear it.
Okay. If it keeps happening, we'll pause and figure it out. Sorry, you asked, do the powers that be know?
Correct.
And Vaz said, I'm not sure that all of them know. Eliza does. She's... I don't pulling puppet strings. The watch knows, or parts of them. He gestures to the bodies in the water, or that you guys have kind of pulled up onto this now kind of beached body island. It looks pretty sketchy now. Tazina's just kind of drumming her fingers together. Not all the watch, but we've had agents all the way through, so.
One last question, Vaz. You stand opposed to Eliza. Perhaps not for the reasons that... Perhaps not for decency, but for some kind of code. Does Eliza have any other important or powerful enemies?
Sorry, I want to make sure I get the name right. She and the Raven have never gotten along, but Raven isn't here. Sorry, where's his name? Oh, and Devin Stanbury and she fight often in council, so those would be my two best bets. Common folk like you, I'd try Devin. If the Raven makes it back from Beacon, then there you go, but that seems unlikely.
And Devin Danbury? Is that name?
Devin Stanbury. Yes, you know who that is? That is the Speaker of the Senate. He used to be a tavern owner who was well liked, and he was elected by the people of Respite to serve to the Senate. So he's really kind of like the people's politician in the city.
Cool. And one last thing, can Garreth roll a general insight check on Vaz? Is he being deliberately misleading or blowing smoke up my rear?
Roll an insight check.
14.
He don't necessarily like him, but yeah, he's telling you mostly the truth.
I'm gonna ask him. In your shady opinion, if I bring the existence of this place to the attention of the Watch, am I going to get murdered, or are they going to try to do something about this?
Which part of the Watch?
I don't know, I guess. What if I talk to Millicent Legree?
Yeah, she'd help you.
I give him a big smile.
You know her, don't you?
I shrug.
Just helping each other across the city. She'll help you.
Garreth feels a lot better. He was worried that Millicent Legree would have to get killed, but he feels less worried about that now. So we're going to let Vaz go. Player me wants to see if Mortlock's got anything on him. And, that weird clasp, maybe? I'd like to have something that, like, proves that he was in the murder dungeon.
Wait, do you want to go get the weird clasp?
Yes.
You go grab it. Oz kind of watches you. It's a little weird that you're taking a trophy from a body, but then shrugs. And he goes back over to take care of his people.
Cool. I'm going to turn to Evelyn and Tessina and say, Evelyn, it sounds like we need to follow up on Cleona's bounty. If these cultists are grabbing people from Beacon, they're a threat to not only the refugees, but also my son was in Beacon. What if he's wasting away in Cleona's bounty?
Or with Eliza.
Right.
She probably doesn't have very many people with her. You're right. I think we should check there.
Tessina, you kind of came into this cold. What do you think?
Garreth, I want to help you find your son. You helped me so much. I owe you for that. And I would be happy to help if you want it.
I kind of give her a squeeze on the shoulder, and Tessina, you have been invaluable. I imagine whatever we're going to go into at Cleona's bounty is terrible. You are fine continuing.
You probably need my help.
That is very true. But you're fine continuing to put yourself in harm's way?
I would be okay.
I wish I had your certainty.
Some of us are just born with it.
Maybe it's Maybelline. Okay. So, I'm going to say to Evelyn, we need to finish whatever business we have here. I'm supposed to deliver you to Millicent Legree. That was the cost for my freedom. It sounds like perhaps Legree is somebody that isn't totally heinous.
Awful trusting.
Do you know Legree?
I know of her.
What's her reputation?
Been avoiding her for a while. Reputation is clinging to the letter of the law.
Well, then perhaps I can trade her meeting you with this. And I hold up Mortlock's clasp.
Let me see if Evelyn recognizes it. Oops. I rolled exactly onto the edge of my little dice thing. That was pretty exciting. Where did you find that?
This was on Mortlock. It looked unique and weird. I thought that it would probably link him to having been here. I'm sure Legree would not like to learn that she's lost 4 of hers in the other room. To Mortlock's blade.
No, I don't think that she would appreciate that at all. That is the Eye of Alessandra.
Ooh, evil. So I should probably put it on, right? Haha.
I don't. That's what the symbol is. I don't think. And she like kind of reaches out towards it really daintily, touches it. It's not that creepy stone that they've been using, so I don't know what it is. All right, what do you want to do here? When you grab Vendetta, your new best friend, she says to Tessina.
Grab them. Let's go wedge the doors shut and leave the skeletons there to guard them. Let's go back into Respite. We'll go back to the forge. I'll send my boy to go get Millicent Legree. You?
I have 2 sons?
No. My apprentice.
Gotcha. Evelyn looks sheepish. She didn't mean to hurt your feelings.
You can be in the other room. I'll offer her this, see what she says. And then we'll go to Cleona's bounty.
Right. Sounds good.
So, we would like to... we'd like to go back...
I think I'm going to expedite us from the dungeon, if that's okay with you.
Okay.
If you want to go back and like roll for when the door's shut, you can. I just don't see any. Did you want to go back through? I just don't see any reason for you.
No.
To need to roll to like take your time to lock people in rooms.
Perfect.
Okay. You lock the people in the rooms. Let's see. Can you take yourself back up to the bathhouse entrance for me, please?
I will. Bathhouse entrance.
Okay, wrong button.
Are we in the courtyard or in the bathhouse?
You are just stepping out after successfully locking the cultists back in their rooms. Your new patrol experts, the skeletons, are kind of blocking things up. Vendetta, where did she go? Is with you all too. Okay, let me grab her. Sorry, she's coming. You step into the courtyard.
Dun, dun, dun!
As you emerge from the bathhouse, 5 figures leap down from the top of the courtyard wall to confront you, wearing black leather armor and cloaks.
Come on, guys. We just been through a whole murder dungeon.
Hang on. Let me get them to where that you can see them.
Octavius gets so upset when we try to stream.
It's very distressing when you want all the attention. Do you want to say anything to them?
Oh.
Sorry, so several black-clad figures emerge. They are wearing cowl hoods and carrying long, curved blades. Their leader bears a large spear, the tip of which resembles a twisted dagger. Stop right there, she orders you.
Real quick, before I do anything else, do I recognize their garb, their regalia, anything about them?
Roll a perception check.
Oh, goodness gracious. Perception. Boom. 7. Can I roll with advantage since Evelyn's
You're not
helping
sure?
me?
Sure.
Perception? 22, nat 20.
Ooh. Strange, but all of a sudden, the curve of the dagger reminds you of one of your son Patrick's heroes as a child, which was the Guardians.
Ooh. Okay.
The Guardians are to the Brightlands, Shadowlands, and Eldura what angels are to the celestial sphere, and what demons and devils are to the, what do we call it, the negative plane.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'm going to show my sign of Vulcan and say, I suspect we're on the same side.
You suspect, right? At least for now.
I'm Master Garreth Stolzdak, and you are...
Servant. Lucifer.
Does that name mean anything to me?
Roll a religion check with advantage.
How's an 11 grab you?
Enough. As a guardian, you know that Lucifer cares particularly about free will and choice.
Okay. Good to know.
Garrett, I also want you to roll an insight check.
Insight. Here we go. Natural 1 for a total of 5.
Okay, and you can roll with advantage because Tessina is helping you.
20.
You notice, as this conversation takes place, a significant glance exchanged between the leader and Evelyn.
Ah. Okay. So wait, in our actual conversation...
You can keep talking to her. While you've been talking to her, you kind of glance at Evelyn for a second, and you see her in the middle of exchanging a significant glance with the leader.
Okay. Okay, so Garreth is going to say... because we established that we were perhaps on the same side, and I'm going to say... There's lots of terror down there. Well, less so now.
Nice work.
Thank you.
I'll make our job easier.
What are you here for?
Yep.
We left several cultists wedged behind doors. So, have fun with that.
Sounds even more fun. Thank you.
Do you know what they were doing here? Why they were taking people? Or why they thought that taking people would help save the city?
Hmm. You know what they were doing here beyond their experiments? Here to investigate those. They've been working on something. In terms of trying to help the city, we believe that it's some sort of issue or problem of a future drain on resources.
Did Lucifer tell you what happened in Beacon?
Maybe.
Do you care to illuminate me?
Roll a persuasion check.
All these mysterious, ineffable people. 9.
What should I tell you?
Garreth thinks of a pithy response, but instead is going to say, my son was there. His father wants to know what happened to him.
Thunder attacked the second sun. She's pulling the city into the negative planes.
So, I'm so sorry, who did?
Alessandra attacked the second sun. She's pulling the city into the negative planes.
And I think Garreth, hearing that, would kind of stagger a little bit. And if they were rushing to get inside, then they could go past him.
They'll wait. Cena kind of wraps an arm around your shoulder.
I think Garreth would just say, how? I mean, because
you can work on finding out. Lucifer said that it can't be occurring without some sort of binding of the wills. And see, my mic not picking up. It's so weird. Sorry, she said that he's not super into the binding of the wills, especially against the will. Exactly how it's working, can't tell you. I don't know.
I think Garreth kind of despair on his face, looks up and will say, and the people that were in the city?
As far as we know, many of them are still there. It's not like Horizon. Garreth, roll a history check.
History check, coming right up. 11.
Okay, you hear Evelyn kind of, you hear a noise of frustration from Evelyn at the mention of Horizon. So it seems like you can ask her about that later.
Okay. Cool. I guess I'll ask this person, I think I would just say, I think after a little bit, Garreth pulls himself together and just says, you can't imagine the day I've had or the things I've seen. And I kind of look back at my little party and say, I need to go home.
She kind of just nods to you, and they take a step back and let you guys leave.
Cool. So I think we're gonna head out of the bathhouse, and then I think that we're gonna make our way to the forge.
Okay.
Would this be a good time to take a break and to tend to our yellow lab bladder needs?
Yeah, I think so. I'll pause the music right here. Yes, so we will pick up in say like 12-ish minutes, because we were kind of cutting it short with his potty needs before. 10 minutes.
Let's do, we're going to be back in 12 minutes at 8:34 Eastern time, and we'll pick up in Garreth's forge. Okay. We'll see you all then. And we're back with Tales of Eldura.
Okay. So Garreth, do you guys want to drop Vendetta off?
Where does Vendetta want to go? Does she have a place that she wants to go?
She has been tortured and in a kind of horrifying position. Evelyn can make sure that she is in a safe house while she gets reacquainted with things. If you would like. If you want to bring her back to the forge with you, we can.
I think that, like, if there was, like, a safe house on the way that's, like, super convenient that we can drop her off at and she's happy at, then that's good. If not, then she can hang out in the forge until she can move to somewhere more helpful.
Okay. As you guys go, Evelyn kind of pulls a whistle out of a hidden pocket in her jacket, blows it. A couple of streets later, you see somebody kind of pop out of the alley with a gray cloak on. Evelyn talks to them for a minute, and they get Vendetta hooked up with stopping by a safe house on the way back to your house.
Cool. As we walk back, did the whistle make a noise?
Yes.
Cool. It seems like a really handy whistle to have.
You heard it's a relatively high-pitched whistle and it was more that she played a specific kind of set of notes on the whistle.
Cool. As we walk, can I talk to Evelyn a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Evelyn, I have a weird question for you.
Okay.
Do you know Lucifer?
A little.
Care to elaborate?
I've lived a long time. I've done some work for him in the past. I know his people.
Do you all in the brigade frequently associate with guardians?
I worked with the Guardians before my work in the brigade. The brigade's been more of a recent project. An interesting one I've enjoyed, but more recent.
In the middle of our wonderful RP, Buck is going to freak out about this bone that Carolina has.
Okay. So, I can't hear him, so
I'm just, when you hear weird chewing and
crying, there I heard it.
we got Carolina's bone. Maybe we'll be okay now.
Okay.
I think that
Sorry, did you hear the last thing that she said?
I was a little bit distracted.
Okay, so do you want me to tell you again?
She worked with the Guardian a little bit, and the Brigade has been a more recent encounter.
She worked with the Guardians before she worked with the Brigade.
Right. Can Garreth ask her, Evelyn, how long have you been in respite? How did you get mixed up with the Brigade?
This most recent time, it's been a year and a half. I spent a lot of my time in Leesmain, which is the city. I know we're looking at the world map. So Leesmain is this highly forested region in the center of Eldura that is relatively neutral territory in terms of kind of the sides fighting in the war, but it's a very Fae connected region.
Garreth is going to say, I would have guessed Leesmain.
Yeah, not the most subtle. That's okay.
Well, and there aren't many with your unique attributes and respite.
Yeah.
So, you've been in respite for a year. What did you come here for? Why did you leave Leesmain?
Work.
Listen, if we're going to be adventuring together, I'm going to need you to consider being more forthcoming.
There's a war on, isn't there?
So I understand.
So I came to respite. To help. Had friends in Leesmain. Spent some time across most of Eldura. But respite seemed like they needed help. I got hooked up with Maverick and started trying to make things a little bit better here. Then things took a turn with the refugees, and I didn't know that something was going to happen to Beacon, or I would have been over there.
I met Maverick, and I just thought that he was this starry-eyed kid, and I just kind of blew him off. When he asked me to join the brigade, I didn't really think that I should have been involved, or that I had any cause to care. But I mean, I wonder if he would still be alive if I had taken the situation in the city more seriously. It's not like I was unaware that there was corruption and bad things happening to people, but until a couple of days ago, it wasn't happening to me.
I get that. Like, is a starry-eyed dreamer, and they've been forced onto us for a while. I told him right at the beginning that what he was getting involved in was dangerous, and he still wanted in. He still had people that wanted to help. You can't blame yourself for that. You probably will, anyway. but that doesn't mean you should.
I think Garreth will kind of set his jaw and think about that on the way back to the forge.
Okay. So, you guys make it back to the forge as the first beautiful rays of sunlight start to fall on the city of Respite.
What a day it's been.
You've been gone for like 24 hours adventuring, if not 48 hours. I don't know that Garreth is totally sure how long it's been.
So as we come
Tessina
in...
beside you is like kind of sleepwalking a little bit, going down the street.
As we come in, I will look for my apprentice.
Okay.
And if I can find him, if he's there, then I will rouse him. And kind of in a very serious, like a very serious faced, very tired, say that I need him to go find a member of. I need him to go. Wait, real quick. What I think that he would be able to like go is like finding the captain of the Nightwatch, like, you know, sending for a detective, or like is it reasonable, or are they like super undercover special forces embedded, you know, kind of people where like it's insane for this little blacksmith's apprentice to go find Captain Millicent Legree? Is that crazy?
You know that she's been waiting on you and watching for you, so no, he will be able to find her.
Okay.
He won't be able to find other Nightwatch captains, but because you have a connection with her, he'll be able to locate her.
Cool. I'm gonna tell him I'm gonna tell him to go to the tavern where we hid out after the brigade ambush.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell him to just be really obvious and be asking around for the captain, and then I'm going to tell him once somebody contacts him to send Millicent to the forge.
Okay, Garrett, sure thing. I'll go right now. And he kind of scurries out the door.
Good lad.
And you're happy to see that your shop is clean and in good order. So he's been doing a good job in your absence.
Good. I think I would invite my new friends into my modest house part that's attached to the forge. And I think I would apologize for the general lack of, I don't know, niceties and stuff. But if, I think we're all like dead exhausted, and I know Evelyn's pretty hurt. So I would offer the ladies the master bedroom, and then I would take the couch downstairs and sleep with my mace on my chest as we wait for my lad to come back.
Okay, perfect. So do you guys want to take a long rest?
We're going to try to, if that's possible.
Okay. So yeah, you get the ladies situated. Evelyn kind of folds her legs underneath her and lays her hands on her knees for her meditation. Tessina flops out, takes up your whole bed. But they'll be fine.
Love it. Do you ever take this long rest button?
I'll do the same.
I have spell slots again. What a relief.
Yay! And I think I'll double check. I think you guys need to level up again.
Whoop whoop.
But let me double check. Go ahead and advance to 3rd level. We'll do that between sessions, but everybody should be 3rd level for our next session. Yay!
Awesome. Ding! I love leveling up. What new spells?
So, bug in my room. Okay, so you guys take your rest. It's just like he's flying in front of my face. You take your rest, and you hear that afternoon a knock on your door.
I very groggily get up and with my mace and shield, and I peer through the door.
Captain Millicent Legree is waiting outside with 4 escorts and a very nervous blacksmith apprentice.
Perfect. As I got up, I wanted to make sure that Evelyn was like out of the room.
Okay, she's still in your room with Tessina, who is still fast asleep.
I let them into the forge, so not the house, but like I open up the forge door and invite the Nightwatch and Millicent and the boy in, and I tell the lad to go grab some refreshments while I turn to Millicent.
Okay. He trips a little on the way, but overall he makes it. And so you hear him off in the distance in the kitchen. Well, Master Sostak, I'm glad to see you, that you're all right.
Frankly, Captain, I've been better. It was quite an ask that you... It's quite a task you sent me on.
To find Evelyn Ryder.
Yes.
Bring her back to me. Why?
Well, I went to the Elfsong Tavern and asked for her, but I was assailed by Braemorn cultists.
Mm.
Did you know of a Braemorn cult operating in Respite?
Loosely, yes.
I prevailed and found out that
I had no idea that Evelyn was involved.
I prevailed over the cultists and discovered that Evelyn had been targeted by them specifically and captured.
They were targeting members of the brigade.
She, along with refugees from Beacon and some natural magic users, had been captured and tortured. Several of them were murdered in a dungeon beneath the bathhouse. And like I would indicate which bathhouse, because I can't remember right now. And Garreth would say, and they had people from the Army of Light murdered down there, clerics and regular refugees, and it was terrible. In the midst of it, Captain, I found Mortlock. He was surrounded by 3 of yours, and I indicate 4. I indicate the guards that she's with, and then I'll say, and he was wearing this, and I toss the Eye of Alessandra onto the table. No.
Oh, you don't toss it in the
into her hand. That sounds cool.
Okay. And this was on Mortlock. Into a pocket.
It was.
Interesting.
I would be dead if it wasn't for Evelyn's help.
She kind of glances around your shop. Is she here?
She's somewhere safe, but I wanted to discuss the terms of our deal. You sent me to find Evelyn, and I found her. And I'm hoping that I've brought you enough of interest that you can at least guarantee me Evelyn's continued freedom and safety. She's not one of the bad ones. She's certainly not responsible for the death of 4 of your men as Mortlock is. He also implicated Eliza Seymour.
Mortlock did.
I nod.
In what way? With this? She holds up the eye again.
He was there doing her bidding.
Tucks it back away. Intending to continue looking into this matter?
Captain, they had clerics from the Army of Light. They took them and they murdered them. I'm sure it matters little to you, but my son is in the Army of Light. And if they're threatening him, then... Well, if they're threatening the Army of Light, then I must do what I can. Whatever I can, really. I would ask for your help. And if not your help, then at least that you don't stop me.
What's your son's name?
Patrick Storsdak.
She nods to one of the 4 people with her. Search the refugee camp for someone by the name of Patrick Storsdak, or anyone who's heard of him or knows him. Report back to me. We'll find out if he's been through the city.
Garreth is chokes a little bit with gratitude. Thank you.
Agreement with me, then, Garreth.
I'm so sorry, the first part?
Oh, will you make another agreement with her?
If it means helping the people of Beacon and stopping their being victimized, then yes.
Right. I do still need to speak to Evelyn. She has valuable information that we need in order to proceed with some of our work. As you may or may not know already, we, and she kind of indicates herself and the people with her, are missing someone important in Beacon as well.
The Raven.
I cannot leave the city until he is returned, but if I can speak to Evelyn for a short while, I will guarantee your and her freedom, and take into consideration any other requests that you would levy towards me, so long as you continue pursuing the line of inquiry that you're pursuing. And she kind of gestures to one of them, and they hand you 2 writs of, or 2 sealed writs. And this will get you anywhere you need to go in the city. Well, anywhere that is aligned itself with us.
I nod appreciatively, and I say, if you could excuse me for just a moment. And I'll go back into the house, and I'll find Evelyn. And
Garreth.
I'll explain like exactly what happened, and then I would say to Evelyn, I think you're probably disinclined to trust her, but I think that in this matter, we can take her at our word, and I think that you should speak with her if you can at all.
Mm. Getting me out of that dungeon, and I will. So she kind of nods and walks past you and goes into the forge.
Cool. I'll come in too.
You've noticed too. Okay. You've noticed too. Evelyn is like back in her full gear, and she has a kind of significant looking winged phoenix crest on the at her waist and her belt.
Cool. Does it look like craftsman as Garreth is a blacksmith? Does it look like craftsmanship that he recognizes, or can he glean anything from that?
It looks like it's very finely crafted of gold and decorated with red crystals.
Cool.
It looks like very, very delicate, like probably fey craftsmanship.
We go back into the forge.
So they've kind of started talking and kind of both turn to look at you as you come in.
And I'll introduce everybody. Captain Millicent Legree, Evelyn Ryder. As per our arrangement.
Thank you, Garreth. Do you have somewhere private for Evelyn and I to speak?
I can gesture them back into the house. Like, I don't have tons of rooms.
If that's okay with you, I think that's what she'd like. She knows Evelyn's not going to talk to her with her soldiers everywhere.
Yeah. Am I getting the idea that I need to be out of the room too, or can I be around?
You've not been expressly invited. What does Garreth want to do?
I think Garreth will just assume that he is, and we'll leave the soldiers and the apprentice in the forge, and I'll show everybody into my little sitting room, and I'll go get my little jug of chilled wine and just kind of be around and hover.
Okay. So as you're...
Roll an insight check.
10. Okay. Yeah, this is great.
I'm definitely not intruding on anything.
Millicent makes some quippy remarks about how difficult it's been for her to get in touch with Evelyn. She speaks to her about how the brigade got started, and kind of asks Evelyn similar questions to what you had asked before. So where else has she been? What all has she been involved with? Roll a d20 for me.
A d20?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to let your curiosity help out, Millicent.
15.
Okay. So, Evelyn explains that she And she's not going into a lot of detail, but she says what she said to you before about being in Lee's Main. She's spent some time in Beacon.
This one's so tight-lipped.
And yeah, you got a chatty friend and a quiet friend. You're welcome. And yeah, I think that's about what she says. And she kind of alludes that she's served and worked on other planes beyond this one, but those are the places where she's primarily spent time in Eldura.
Cool.
Garreth, do you add any questions?
Oh, for Evelyn?
Yeah, I mean, do you participate at all, or are you just listening?
Oh, yeah, I think I would just be kind of like listening. Like, yeah, if they tell me to go away, I'll go away, but I think that I would just kind of be listening.
They don't tell you to go away.
Listening, yeah.
Okay. You do catch a couple, like, secret society sounding names that aren't familiar to you.
Okay.
That seem like they took place perhaps before you were born.
I'm just a young whippersnapper.
Evelyn dodges most of those questions.
Is there a particular name that I pick up on?
Roll a perception check.
9?
There aren't very many names mentioned. You have the places. Millicent Legree kind of thanks Evelyn. Garreth, thank you. This was very helpful. And excuses herself, takes her people with her, and leave you to your forge.
Cool. I think before like after Captain Millicent leaves, Captain Millicent, it's like we're at Sunday school.
Oh. I think Captain Millicent sounds cool.
Captain Millicent is one of my favorite characters ever. She took my eye of Alessandra, but that's okay.
I'm sorry.
I think that I would hang back and talk to Evelyn a little bit before we go see if Tessina's still sleeping.
Okay. Tessina wakes up. She goes into your kitchen. You hear her rummaging around.
I think I would say, so are you some kind of extraplanar spy working against Alessandra?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Yes, that sums it up well.
All right, that's pretty cool.
It's less exciting than it sounds. Some interesting friends.
My life has been markedly more exciting since meeting you, so I'm not sure if I am inclined to believe you that it's boring by any stretch. I guess we'll gather Tessina and make a plan for Caveman's bounty. Cleodna's bounty.
I think that's a good idea. You said the two of you met at the tavern waiting for me?
Yes. Yeah, she was being pursued by a couple of those cultist thugs. And she saw what happened at Beacon and fled through the Witchwood before coming here.
You want to keep her with you?
She's been helpful. Do you have any reason to mistrust her or think that we should leave her behind?
No, no. And the coven in the Witchwood is very well informed, so I think that she will be a valuable asset to us.
Good. The more the merrier, I suppose. Tessina,
Yes, Garrett?
dude.
Do you know that you only have like 4 loaves of bread?
Oh, it must have been market day. That's more than usual.
Oh. Well, I ate one. Is that okay? He said I could.
Is my apprentice totally in love with Tessina?
He's following her around pretty good.
Well, we just got like 10 days of rations, so I'm not too worried about food, as
Good.
we have the chilled wine, we have a little bit of food on the table. I'll tell my apprentice to go and mind the forge, and I will say we need to talk next steps.
You say that to him or to Tessina and Evelyn?
To the team, to the ladies.
Okay. Got you. Sure thing, Garreth. I'm on it. And he's been in and out of the forge. I know he brought Millicent, but while you've been talking to Evelyn, he's been working on some of the simpler orders. So he's trying really hard to take care of things. And your friend, it's James, right?
James from the Guild of the Glove.
Yeah. So he's gone to check on, to send word to James as well that you're back. But he, if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys kind of gather to have your conversation. I'm going to pull up a map of Respite, or put us on the map of Respite. Where did I put it? Oh, here it is. Boop. Town sounds.
Town sounds. I like the apprentice hammering in the background sound.
Yeah. And the whistling.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you guys are ready to plan.
So let's plan a plan. Cleodena's bounty is also in the tavern district, or where is that?
The tavern district. Yeah, so it's also in the tavern district. I'm going to say it's here-ish, so it's really near the wall, and it's a ship that was wrecked.
Oh,
and kind of drug ashore at a time of higher tide, and kind of got turned into a bar.
And it's on the inside of the wall, not the outside.
I think it's just outside, or it's within a makeshift wall area. So like the outer wall of Respite is relatively strong, but there have been smaller additions, especially after the attack 10 years before. So I know I have a really even wall on our map, but it actually have like little additional spaces. And so some of those would be in the dock district. And sorry, some of this is my medium map making skills.
I think the map is beautiful. Okay, cool. So I would ask Evelyn, Evelyn, you said that the brigade was looking at Cleodena's bounty. Do you have any idea of what we might find there? How likely is it that there's another murder dungeon underneath it?
Underneath the ship?
That's right. It seems improbable, but we did just crawl through a murder dungeon under a bathhouse.
Which is connected to the sewer.
I'm just saying.
So I would have said low probability. That doesn't mean that there aren't going to be murdery people on the inside, especially if we're having to deal with Emmerich, I guess depending on his mood. But I think that beyond that, there shouldn't be a dungeon beneath the ship. And there's a restaurant there.
I wonder where the meat comes from. Anyway, so our goal in investigating Cleodena's bounty is to further implicate or find information that we can use to bring down Eliza Seymour and or find out what's going on with her and Alessandra and this threat to respite, which is ostensibly the same threat that Beacon evidently is buckled under.
Garrett?
Ticino?
I wonder if they are directly connected or if what's going on in Respite is more of a response to what's going on in Beacon.
I wonder that as well.
That sketchy man that we talked to? Vase, something, vase. Anyway, I've always said vase. I think I started thinking that's when we were talking to him.
I understand that Eliza is saying that she's doing what she's doing to make sure that the city has enough food or whatever, and that means demonizing, depriving, ultimately killing the people from Beacon. I wonder it can't stand that she is just killing these people, and that doesn't explain the death cult, and that doesn't explain the black stones that they were using. He gestures towards Evelyn.
She nods. I understand that, and I know that not all the things are being explained. But what I saw in Beacon, the attack that she mounted, are they okay? I heard like a weird...
Oh yeah, we're just being weird little puppies rolling around.
Oh, that was a chew-bone sound. Okay. It sounded like an explosion. Well, not an explosion. It sounded like a crash. Sorry. It's in Beacon, it would have had to have been... Alessandra's been working on that for a while. I know that she's insanely powerful and everything, but even so, all magic has limits. To mount such a great attack against Ilona, she's been working for a while.
She would have had to have help and allies in the city.
Yes.
So I'm suggesting...
But who would have worked with her inside of Beacon?
I don't know. I'm suggesting that if she's starting that kind of work in Respite, then who might she have allied with, and might that person be Eliza Seymour?
That eye was pretty damning, so I would say yes. Not to mention, I mean, Rekka's involved. There's no telling what level of trickery and deceit we're dealing with for Alessandra either. Just because they believe that whatever deal they've struck with her doesn't mean that we should.
So we have this lead at Cleodna's bounty, and we have this target in the form of Emmerich. How do we want to approach him? Do we go
Blades
in?
Out?
Sorry?
Blades out?
We can go in blades out. Or we can... Maybe we can approach him... maybe I could say I've got a lead on some refugees that made it into the city and can talk to them. Maybe some kind of exchange of information or goods, and then blades out.
Emmerich, before, when we were looking into it, or the leads that we found that led to Cleodna's bounty, indicated that that's where a lot of the city's funds were moving in and out of. And Emmerich takes care of a lot of the city's financials, so it would... I mean, we could be pretending like we want a loan, too. Or we could just be at the tavern and then become curious when we see whatever's going on.
Caroline is literally shoving me around in my rolly chair. Okay. Perhaps I'll go and you all can be my business associates. New members of the Guild of the Glove, and we need some funding to tide us over as we've been temporarily shuttered due to the new orders from the Watch. If we come to a point in which we need to get some more leverage or some more credibility with him, we could mention, I also know of a safe house that refugees have found, and they're holed up there, and I heard that maybe, Emmerich, sir, you might be interested in that kind of thing.
Interesting.
And we attempt to get ourselves in a situation where we're talking to him and as few of his associates as possible.
I like it.
And then I'll shout a code word like, "By the Forge and the Flame!" And that'll be the cue to blades out.
Garreth, I think that that's a great plan.
I'm a tactical genius.
In worst case, we tell him we have a refugee. She points it to Cena, who's like,
If we can avoid that, then that's plan F.
I like it. I'm just kidding. I think he'd be a lot more interested in a safe house. We could also, if we're working on trying to implicate Eliza, that could be kind of the angle that we've heard that someone you work for might be interested in this type of information. So that way we're not kind of going at him quite so directly.
I like it. Good. Is there anything... the brigade had been looking into Cleodna's bounty. Is there anything that we need to know about Cleodna's bounty, or who and or what is in or around it before we head there?
I mean, they've got your regular kind of patrons who are there. Some ex-sailors who like to sit on a boat on dry land. Go figure. Beyond that, They got banned from the ocean, so there you go. Beyond that, the captain who runs the tavern, Norella, is pretty cool.
Norella, we think Norella is cool.
Love. I'm gonna have to start like sending you lists of names. Norella. I'm gonna write it out so you can put it in your notes, and then we'll both be talking about the same person. Lorelra. There's an extra L.
That's
Lorelra.
sneaky R.
I know, sorry. We might get rid of the extra R and she might become Lorella, because that's a lot easier for me to say than Lorella.
So Laura is... Your sense of her is that she's cool and not one of Emmerich's / Eliza / maybe Alessandra's stooges.
Her is that she's going to stay out of whatever is involved, and that they're just meeting there because she's pretty hands-off and runs one of the less populated taverns.
Good. Perhaps we should go to Cleoda's Bounty during the mid-afternoon lull. Is it like early noon?
No, you guys got back early that morning, so it's right now. So you got back like 5, 6 a.m.
Do you all think we should go now?
I'm pretty ready to go now, and we're getting kind of low on this chilled wine.
And we need to pick up some more bread.
And we definitely need more bread. Will they have some there?
Who knows, but I'm sure that we'll find some on the way.
It was kind of like a turkey leg, too.
Let's go.
Okay. So you make your way through the mid-afternoon city streets of Respite. Is there anything that you want to do on the way?
We got to find Tessina a turkey leg, and we'll get a replacement loaf of bread. Mm-hmm. And I think on the way, nothing springs to mind. I think Garreth might... I don't know. I think that he would check in with if they're passing on the way, he would like check in on James and make sure that he is okay, having dealt with the city watch, or if he's been shut down too, or like what's going on with him. But other than that, I think that we're just going to Cleoda's Bounty.
Okay, yeah. So you can stop and check in with James, and he does kind of the like arm shake to arm to arm shake. He gives you some money that is meant to be split between the two of you, because he has been able to stay open because of the work that you did. Captain Millicent Legree put in an exception for the two of you, and actually did some negotiation with the guild and with the various pieces of the watch, and kind of got you guys some more money. And so he's been taking on the more complex jobs that you would normally be splitting, and your apprentice has been doing some of the simpler work for him.
Cool.
So he roll a D100 for me.
I'll roll that D100. Here we go. 47.
Okay. Divided by 2 would be 24.
Close enough.
24 gold.
Love
for
it.
You.
Got it. I've almost got 500 gold.
Wow, you made so much money today. So you and all of your money make your way through the city streets, and the tavern district is really pretty tight in certain places, especially trying to get to Clearnose Bounty, which is right up against the walls of the city with its kind of bonus wall area. But you guys kind of maneuver there. So it's about 5 p.m. ish as you walk up to this beached giant ship with mast kind of towering into the sky of Respite. And I think that's where we will take our break for the evening.
Cool. So we will confront Amric and Cleona's bounty and perhaps get some more information about what the heck is going on next week?
Yes, as level 3.
As level 3. I can't wait to level up.
Good. You get a whole new set of spells, right?
I think so. I think level 3 is pretty serious for most classes. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Cool.
Cool. Thank you, honey.
You're welcome. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you to our wonderful patrons. If you want to check out our Patreon, we're working on a really cool new series of vampire adventures called Land of Vampires. We just released the first one 2 days ago. So you can find that 3 days ago at patreon.com/GroveGuardianPress. We'll have a link in the show notes, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.